All right, we have a photograph here from Michael Belk with Journeys with the Messiah. He's given us permission to use this. He calls it quandary, I'll call it torn, because you have this tension that exists between a very affluent man who has a Ferrari and maybe his wife with him and his kids, and he's kind of driven and happened upon Jesus, and they're looking at one another, and there's an exchange. This is all based on the story of the rich young ruler in Matthew chapter 19, where this very affluent man is wanting to know how he gets eternal life, and he's talking to Jesus about it, and Jesus, setting him up for a conversation, says, well, you just got to obey all the commandments, you know. And the guy comes back with, well, I honor my parents, and I haven't killed anybody, I haven't coveted, I haven't committed adultery, I'm doing pretty good. And Jesus, setting him up, says, well, okay, I get all of that, but why don't you take all of your possessions and give them to the poor and come follow me? And all of a sudden, you've put this guy in this tension where he has to really deal with this situation. And that's what Jesus does. He cuts to the quick, right to the heart of the matter, and he bottom lines it for us. The fact of the matter is this: money is not the root of all evil. A lot of people think that, and inaccurately so. Money in no way, shape, or form is the root of all evil, but the love of money is. And if we have some possession that we truly love more than anything else, we don't really have that possession. That possession, in fact, has us. If we love something, some object, the ownership of something, more than we do God, then we've got to deal with that. We've got to either move that down the priority list or remove it off the list altogether. And this is what Jesus' point was. All of the commands, Jesus said, are summed up in this one or two statements. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. That is to say, if your heart's given to a possession, to status, to success, to overworking, if your heart's given to any of those things, then your heart's been stolen away from the one who actually provided it. And that's what Jesus' point is. You may not have a relationship with him, you might not love him, but you may love possessions, you may love status, you may love attention, you may love a sex life, you may love drugs, whatever it is. But your heart is given to that thing, and because it's given to that thing, it's not given to a person. So your heart's invested in things at the expense of a person, one actually who died for you. And reconciling that in life, processing that, it places you in a position to prioritize what's most important. That Ferrari is a beautiful car, and wouldn't that be nice to have one? But at the same time, if it cost you something priceless to have it, you shouldn't have it. But if you have it, and you realize it doesn't really belong to you, you're just using it, it belongs to God, and it gets in no way, shape, or form in the way of your relationship with him, what's the problem? This is what Jesus means when he says, come follow me. And when you follow him, you begin to learn things and see things differently, because man's ways are not God's ways. And God has a pretty cool way of looking at things. It keeps you free and not entitled.